Ndị be anyị ekenere m unu. Asị m ka nke e chiri ya zelu. Asị m unu ụtụtụ ọma, ehihie ọma, mgbede ọma, site n'ebe isi wee na-esore anyị n'ụbọchị nke taa na Eastern News 24. Anyị si na ọ ya dịrị onye ọbụla na mma kada bụ ndị na-esore anyị n'ilu akwụkwọ n'ihe anyị na-ebe dị iche iche. N'ụbọchị nke taa anyị si na ọ ya dịrị anyị Igbo na mma na anyị yarị ka echi na echi ede agwụ agwụ. Ife anyị na-akpọ ya bụ ife wetara n'ụbọchị nke taa bụ ife anyị na-akpọ ya bụ morning tea n'ilu akwụkwọ. Ihe a bụ gbasịta maka ya bụ ihe na-eme na obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya, ana gbasịta maka nwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, o nwere ihe Biafran Prime Minister kwuru n'ilu akwụkwọ nwetara unu ka unu ga ya bụ ife, unu ga-esi ya bụ ife na tinye alụ nke unu ife unu chere gbasịta maka ihe ndị a niile o kwugasị n'ilu akwụkwọ dị iche iche n'ụbọchị nke taa na morning tea. Dịka ị na-ege ya bụ ife, dropkwara your own comment n'ilu akwụkwọ, ọ dịkwa nnukwu mkpa. All right, over to you, sir.
Agreement with us, and we've been engaged ever since.
Thank you very much for that in-depth brief. I wouldn't want to go into the Liberia thing and all that because a lot of people already have heard about how you handled it, and history is about to repeat itself. Now, we have been seeing recently, news on different platform about your organization filing some kind of document to the ICC, International Criminal Court. So could you tell us, what is going on? Is there an update from the September filing?
Absolutely. We've, as you know, there's a lot of things that we're doing that are confidential. But what I can share with you was that we have collected evidence and information where we prepared our very first criminal referral to the Office of the Prosecutor at the International Criminal Court on 15 September of this year. And that was a confidential but a very comprehensive compilation of evidence we submitted to them that they received, acknowledged receipt, and are actively examining that information. And we'd also requested that if they had not opened up an investigation yet, to add this to the preliminary examination. However, we are actively seeking that they seek approval from the pretrial chamber to open an investigation specifically into the wide-scale and systematic killing of the civilian population, and most notably targeting the indigenous people of Biafra. Now, since that time frame, we have collected additional evidence, and we submitted a second referral containing criminal information and evidence to substantiate further ongoing and wide-scale systematic killing of the civilian population, and again, specifically targeting the IPOB. That was also acknowledged. It's being examined. And again, we are requesting that they formally open an investigation and look into what we are identifying as a genocide that's being committed by the Nigerian government and extremist Fulanis against the indigenous people of Biafra.
Thank you very much. You said it has been acknowledged, and you are waiting for the ICC to open investigation. So, I just want to, for just a clarification, is it that when the application is filed, they have to be after the acknowledgement, they have to now open the investigation for that particular case?
Well, what the process is that they have to seek formal approval from the pretrial chambers to do that. What we are doing is providing them ample evidence to justify that request to open an investigation, and most specifically looking at the, again, wide-scale and systematic killing of the civilian population, which is a crime against humanity and, quite frankly, genocide that we believe is being committed against indigenous people of Biafra.
All right. So when this thing is filed, is it like something that anybody can ask and get information that, some kind of complaint or application has been lodged at the ICC? Is it something that anybody can ask question and, you get some information or some kind of feedback from the ICC?
Well, we have gotten written responses, acknowledgement, as you typically do, and we've also gotten responses directly from the Office of the Prosecutor. And it is a process, and as you can imagine, we collected very sensitive information, and it's confidential. Certainly they have all the details, but it's not something that's publicly and readily available to the public for obvious reasons. We have confidential sources of information and evidence that needs to be protected, but the ICC is well aware of it, and they have that, and it's their obligation to examine and look at that, and we've done that under the protection of the ICC, so that sources and witnesses and methods and operations are not inadvertently disclosed or discovered, to protect the individuals that are involved.
Yeah. All right. So we, the last time you were here, and I have also been privileged to see the release from your group. There are some other organizations you have mentioned that that were communicated officially. So could you brief us about them, like for the Committee on Human Rights at the UN and all that, and then also you mentioned about the United Kingdom. Let us take it step by step. Brief us about the Committee on Human Rights at the UN. What do you intend to get from them?
Absolutely. This is a process, as you know. You have to educate people and make them aware of this. And this is it's a process, and it takes time to do that. So we are familiar with all the organizations that have an interest in jurisdiction in this. So in September, we had written specifically and made a complaint to the Secretary General in hopes that it would be elevated to the Security Council. Simultaneously, we provide a written notice to the High Commissioner for Human Rights for the UN in Geneva, and put her on notice, Madame Juria, of the circumstances and information to the extent that we could talk about in the first referral to the ICC. And we also notified the Foreign Office in the UK as well, to make sure that they were aware. Now, this month we followed through, because unfortunately right now, despite people that indicate that they go and are meeting with people, they are not meeting people in person. So the process is in writing. You can do it in writing, but we also like to do it in person. And unfortunately, the Office of the High Commissioner is not meeting. That entire office is not meeting people in person. So this is the recourse that we have for now. Certainly, when the opportunity presents itself that we can meet in person, we definitely want to follow up. So this second referral we made was a formal written complaint to the Human Rights Council, which is also falls under the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. So that has been done, and what we're seeking is an independent commission of an international inquiry where people would be appointed, experts would be appointed to look into the wide-scale and systematic killing of the civilian population, including the indigenous people of Biafra. So it's separate and distinct from the ICC, but we're reaching out to those entities that have a vested interest to look into this. We also had submitted this again to the Foreign Office, a redacted version of the criminal complaint, which was acknowledged receipt and also forwarded to the appropriate offices in London and also in The Hague. So we are moving forward, we're making progress, and we are reaching out to the people that have direct responsibility, to include the U.S. Congress. This actually last month, Congressman Smith, the co-chairman of the U.S. Congressional Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission, held hearings, and it was entitled "The Balance of Human Rights and Counterterrorism." And what has happened, many governments have used the terrorism label to target their opposition. And there's been an abuse of this. And he specifically cites the Buhari, President Muhammadu Buhari, as being one of those that has pursued his opposition, such as the indigenous people of opposition and using the prescription of terrorism as a form of repression. So this is a very significant step in the process where we're getting notoriety on this issue, and Nigeria is being brought under the microscope, particularly in the US, with the UN, and even in the UK. So we think we're making progress, and again, this is part of the human rights advocacy campaign and also what the leader wanted us to do, and that was to pursue justice and accountability on behalf of the indigenous people of Biafra. So that's exactly what we're doing.
Thank you very much for this explanation. You know, a lot of people, you know, when you look at the screen, I'm just flashing the first communication to the ICC. A lot of people don't understand the process and the procedure of this ICC. So is it that you have to petition, like here, it says that the BWGG petition the ICC expand the Nigeria government crimes to also include international rendition of the regime political opponent, which is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on this. And there is a British citizens and all that. So is it that when you are filing a petition to the ICC, it is not, it doesn't, of course, can you explain more? Because a lot of people may think that when you file petition to the ICC, you are filing petition to ordinary court. There is, I know at least there is something called the admissibility criteria or admissibility standard of cases in ICC. So could you just a little bit brief tell people what does that mean? You know, when we talk about admissibility standard or admissibility criteria. Thank you.
Absolutely. The International Criminal Court was stood up in 2002 officially, and it's really the court of last resort. And there are signatories, which mean people sign up to allowing the International Criminal Court to seek jurisdiction over crimes against humanity and international violations of humanitarian law under Article 7, which is the Rome Statute that outlines what the criminal statutes are. For example, murder, genocide, torture, all those types of statutes. Nigeria is a signatory to it. So the ICC does have jurisdiction over the government of Nigeria when in fact the government either lacks the will or lacks the capacity to investigate and prosecute those that are involved in crimes against humanity against their own people. So in this case, in 2012, the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has the authority to open up a preliminary examination. It's a form of an investigation, but it's not formal. That preliminary examination was closed out on December 11th, or a report was issued on December 11th, 2020. The indication was they were going to seek formal approval from the pretrial chambers of the International Criminal Court to open up a criminal case, look into Boko Haram and also the Nigerian security forces who had committed atrocities. That has not happened yet. So the next step is to continue under Article 15 of the Rome Statute. It allows the prosecutor to receive information from non-governmental organizations or other credible sources, such as our organization, have experience and expertise in these types of matters, to provide information direct to the office of the prosecutor. So what we're doing now is providing them evidence to support a formal request to open up a criminal investigation into the crimes against humanity, and specifically the wide-scale and systematic killing of the civilian population, which is genocide, which involves the indigenous people of Biafra. We will continue to provide them information to bolster their request to seek a formal investigation or approval to open up a formal investigation. So that's what we're doing right now. We're going to continue to do this, but it must be credible and reliable information. And that's why there's a lot of referrals that go to the ICC and they end up going nowhere because they're not necessarily credible or reliable. In our case, because of our experience and practice, we are providing credible, reliable information and confidential so that they can see where the information is coming from to give it a further credible and reliable evaluation of the evidence that we've submitted. So that's the process. Meanwhile, there are other options we're looking at with the Human Rights Council to open up a formal inquiry, commission of inquiry. That could also bolster activity. And also we could seek UN Security Council sanctions for such action and involvement by the Security Council. So again, it's a process. It's not one size fits all. So we're looking at all the various options. And of course, we specifically highlighted in our September 15th referral the illegal abduction, forced disappearance, which is a crime against humanity, and also torture and the illegal rendition of Mazikanu that was between the Kenyan government and the Nigerian intelligence services, where that rendition occurred. And that was back in November in June 29th of this year. And we were the first ones to go public in early July to announce this to the world that this is in fact was an illegal abduction. It was a forced disappearance. There was torture involved, and it was an illegal rendition, which has now come to fruition. So we were the first ones to go public with this to make the world aware of actually what happened. And that is now coming out, as you've seen the recent determination or finding in Kenya, where that in fact had borne fruit. So again, this is a process. This is what we're doing. It doesn't happen overnight, but you have to understand what needs to be done in the process in which to pursue, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Thank you very much. And when I look at the second filing, the second filing to this ICC, I noticed that there is this BWGG has fully communicated with the Foreign Office in the United Kingdom regarding both the ICC and the UN filing, and continue to seek increased cooperation from the UK regarding the unlawful rendition of IPOB leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Can you give us a little bit more in-depth comment? What is it that you are trying to get from the UK Foreign Office? What are we expecting from there, from your experience?
Well, since the leader, Mazi Kanu, is a British citizen, we have every right as the legal representative for Mazi Kanu and on behalf of the IPOB in the United States, and actually as an organization, because he signed the agreement with us, not just in the United States, but globally. So it's our obligation to keep them posted and informed of what we're doing to the extent that we can. So we did in fact provide a redacted copy of the referral, which they received and they acknowledged, and it has gone into the human rights section in the UK, and it has been shared with the African desk, and also it's been shared with the appropriate offices in The Hague. So they are taking this very serious, and again, it's our job to inform them. We want to keep them aware of what's going on and keep them engaged in what's going on so that they can support making sure that justice and accountability is sought on behalf of the IPOB and certainly Mr. Kanu.
Thank you very much. And just for our viewers, I would want to bring this to the screen. One moment. When you look at this, what is on the screen, this is the first communication on the 15th of September 2021 from your organization. This is 15th of September, as you can see, 15th of September, Washington, D.C. Go down to the second page of this document. One moment. There is something here that says, Congressman Chris, ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Africa, submitted, stated, genocide is happening right before our eyes. the United States and international community must do to hit the violent because the dire situation on ground warrant it, and because the people of Nigeria deserve to live in peace and freedom with their fundamental human right guaranteed. Now, the congressman, in related to the congressman's statement. Now, this is from Chris, and this was in September 15, 2021. Now, I'm going to bring another statement. Another statement from Chris, I think in October. Then after that, I will ask you the question I want to ask. So let us go to bring this to the screen. That was what I just read now was in September, and then going forward to October 2021, the same Congressman Smith, now did not only just talked about Nigeria. He did not only talk about the and all that going on in Nigeria. He did not only talk about the genocide going on in Nigeria. One moment, I don't know if you can see. Are you seeing anything on the screen?
I am.
You seen the document on the screen?
Yes, it's small, but I can read it.
Okay, I have to try to make it more.
Eboma na-ege ntị daalụ nne na ụmụ ife ka unu si wee na-esoro anyị n'idu akwụkwọ na Eastern News 24 n'ụbọchị nketa anyị na-akpọ ya morning tea. Unu anụgonu ya bụ ife mgbakọrịta ụka ya bụ ife Maazị Simon Ekpa bụ Biafran Prime Minister or Biafran Public Government in exile. Dịka o si dị n'afọ ka o si ada n'iru akwụkwọ. Gịnị ka ị nwere ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile kwugasị n'iru akwụkwọ dị iche iche dropụla ya on the comment section below. Ọzọ dịkwa ka ibe ya bụ na nke a bụ ụbọchị izu gị na-esorela anyị n'iru akwụkwọ, onye na-afụ ya bụ ihe onyonyo anyị kaba alụ ka ị like ya and turn on notification, share kwe ka o wetakwa ndị ọzọ ụmụnne anyị dị n'ebe dị iche iche aka. Daalụ nne na Igbo ma na-ege ntị. Oge na-adịrị anya onye ndu ya pụta n'ụlọ mkpọrọ ka emesịanụ.